Good evening. President Ben Ali left Tunis this afternoon, having failed to quell what they're calling the Jasmine Revolt. The Prime Minister has taken charge, but a state of emergency is in place tonight, and thousands of foreigners, including many British holidaymakers, are trying to get home.
There's extraordinary anger here mixing with the smell of tear gas. Either this is the first Arab revolution of the 21st century, or it will be brutally suppressed.
Sidi Bouzid, a town of 40,000. The guidebooks barely mention it, but its place in Tunisian history now seems certain. We find the town's main square full of pro-democracy protesters revelling in their newfound freedom and demanding the removal of ministers now in the so-called unity government who served President Ben Ali's hated regime. Looking down on them is a photo of Mohamed Bouazizi, a poor vegetable seller whose decision to burn himself to death inspired a nation.
They love him because he was a poor guy, simple guy. Yes, and now he's a hero. Yeah.
Thousands of students have taken to the streets in Yemen after a woman activist who led anti-government protests was arrested. Tawakkul Carmen, who was inspired by the popular revolt in Tunisia, was detained this morning and charged with organising unlawful demonstrations. Crowds marched to the university in the capital Sana'a demanding her release.
In the heart of Cairo's concrete jungle, police fired tear gas and rubber bullets to break up what is now the biggest challenge to Hosni Mubarak's 30-year rule. In Cairo, the protesters may have numbered a few thousand at most. But amid the tear gas, the stones, the skirmishes, the picture emerging here is extraordinary because the defiance is unprecedented.
Now, protests have also spilled into neighbouring Sudan, where student demonstrators marched on the offices of the country's ruling National Congress Party to call for a change of government. They clashed with the police in Khartoum as they criticised the regime of President Omar al-Bashir. The demonstrations coincided with the preliminary results of a referendum which suggested 95% of southern Sudan wants independence from the north.
Hundreds of thousands fill Egypt's cities in protest. They pray for Mubarak to go. Reports he's about to address the nation tonight. And now neighbouring Jordan falls victim to the viral movement for change across the region. King Abdullah forced to sack his government.
It's mid-afternoon in Alexandria and there are already tens of thousands of people out on the streets. Every time we stop, people come up to us with their banners, their posters, shouting. One woman we've just seen sitting in a wheelchair said to me, "No justice, no justice." Today for these people is the day. This is the day they want President Mubarak to go.
My priority is to restore security and stability and to achieve peaceful transition of power in a way that protects the country and allows the handover of responsibility to the persons elected by the people at the next presidential elections. Regardless of the current situation, I did not intend to run for next presidential elections.
There is no extension, no inheritance, no resetting the clock, as some have repeatedly claimed, saying that the president wants to bequeath power to his son, that he wants to set back the clock, that he wants to throw out the clock altogether. This is not part of the president's programme.